Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and tip our hats to talk about books, both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
We are your hosts, Marissa.
Sorry. Let's do the
I saw that panic registering on your face, and as you were chewing and I was talking, and I was just like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.
Marissa was watching the panic play out as it slowly dawned on me that I shoved too much food in my mouth.
She ate an entire one of her treats right before the "We are your hosts," and I'm like, why would you do that?
It's funny because I was like, I'm gonna eat this because it's the intro, so I'll eat it. It'll be the intro. It'll be fine. And then all of a sudden I go, oh crap. She introduces me first. I'm going to have to say hello.
We're keeping of this in.
And then I tried Marissa.
I couldn't. I wanted to keep this part in because I felt this was funny.
The panic.
The panic was great.
Okay. We are your hosts, Jenna.
Hi, guys.
Marissa.
Hello.
And I'm Megan. Wow.
All take our time, guys, when we start.
Maybe we need to say before we get started, what are you eating?
I'm eating the little Portuguese pastries. They have them at Costco, and I became obsessed with them recently, and I left a box in Marissa's freezer, so I've forgotten about them, and all of a sudden I was like, I just want something slightly sweet, and this is my slightly sweet treat right now.
Are they the egg tarts or something?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I love them. Love them so much.
Yeah, they're taking up space in my freezer because she doesn't have space in her freezer.
Yeah, I have no space in my freezer.
I also have no space in my freezer.
Yeah,
it's bad.
An extra freezer is really what I need. Every time we go shopping and Renee goes down the freezer section, I'm like, we have no room.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
All right. And what else? Or what are you drinking?
What are we drinking? I'm drinking the Celestial Seasoning, the apple cinnamon spice one. It smelt really good when I opened Marissa's cabinet, and that's what was my deciding factor.
All right. How about you, Marissa?
I'm drinking Twining's decaffeinated English breakfast tea.
Oh, good. And I'm drinking the Bengal Spice with some honey and a splash of almond milk.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very good one.
It's quite delicious.
So we are today going to kind of take it back, not to our roots, but to some of the early days of Volume 1, where we put tropes in a hat, and then we went around and pulled those tropes out and discussed them. But this time, we each kind of came up with very intricate questions, which I think is going to make for a really good discussion today. So we each came up with 5, so we can do this a lot, but I think we're going to break it up into a couple episodes similar to how we did our tropes. But yeah, so would either of you like to go first, or should I hop in?
I'll take it.
Oh, go, yes, Marissa, go.
Marissa. I think I got jealous. No, maybe. This is Megan's. Never mind. I was trying to base it off of the handwriting before I actually read it. So, funny enough, why aren't you buying a book based on the cover? Why aren't we judging a book by its cover, guys?
So this is specifically why aren't you buying a book based on the cover? And for me, it's like if I can't say 100%, but a lot of the time, if the author's name is bigger than the title itself, like Stephen King, I love Stephen King. I will always read Stephen King. But when it's like, Stephen King, Wizard and Glass, I'm just like, okay, amazing. You're buying it for the author, not for the title or the book or the cover itself. And then sometimes the name is so big that there's like no cover, there's no design, there's no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one of the reasons I don't buy it.
Oh, I get it. So you are judging a book by its cover for not wanting to buy the book.
Yes, that's the question.
Okay, I get it now. Well, honestly, if it's just anything boring, like a boring title, like one word that is just a regular word that means nothing to me or tells me really not much about the book, I'm not gonna do it. And then yeah, like you said, like just something like where the text just takes it up and the cover is just like a blank page, basically. I need something to tell me about the book.
Substance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need something that pulls my attention into it. Otherwise, I'm just scanning over the shelf of thousands upon thousands of books.
Right.
So that's typically mine. If it just looks boring, there's nothing that grabs my attention off of it.
Mine's if the cover art is really, really cringy.
Yeah.
There's specifically a romance book that keeps popping up in like book talk and stuff like that I think of for this. And for some reason, whenever I see that specific cover, I literally don't even want to look up what the book is about. It just like immediately throws me off. And I'm like, nope, sorry. I can't physically imagine sitting there reading this book in public and people seeing the cover of this book. Therefore, it cannot be bought.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Like, if it's something that I don't want people to see me reading because they're going to judge me based off of the cover of the book, I probably won't buy it either.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the obviously shirtless, half-naked man where you just see from his jaw down and
Yeah.
you're just like in cowboy pants and you're like, everyone looking at this is going to think, oh my God, she's reading
Yeah.
exactly what it looks like I'm reading.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Isn't that like the reason back in the day they had like the cover on top of the cover?
Probably.
So the what Fabio covers, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
they were so prevalent, but then I guess there was an outcry or whatever. And so then they have now a cover on top of that. So when you open like the top flap, it shows you what the real cover would be with the
Fabio
half naked, the half naked Fabio man
Probably.
gripping tightly to the woman's thigh as
Yes.
he's looking longingly into her eyes.
Holding a sword.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a euphemism.
Yeah, I think if it's just something that's like, like a field with a rocking chair in it or something like that, I'm like, that just doesn't look like a very interesting book to me. But then you've got like the ones where there's like dragons fighting each other or something like that. Looks interesting. You got the two teenagers that are like facing away from each other. Doesn't look as interesting to me. So, I mean, the cover's got to tell me something about the book, and if it's telling me something boring, I'm not going to be picking it up.
Yeah, I agree. My thing was real people on the cover. No thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Or if it looks cheap, like it looks like they didn't put enough energy or time into it, and they're like, the budget's all on the editing, which is actually probably a good thing, but they should have put a little bit more budget to the cover.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Absolutely.
The only time I'm going to buy a boring book where it's like a blank or very like simple cover is if I already know something about the book
Yes.
that makes me want to read it.
I will say the only one I do think the covers they're like not that bad, but they have real people on it is Parasol Protectorate.
Yeah.
Like they're I like the costuming on them, and then the background design is pretty fun, but they have real people. I probably would not have picked those up if you guys had not given it to me.
Yeah.
Forever ago. So
All right. Who's next?
Oh, me.
go, Jenna, go.
What books have made you laugh out loud or physically cry? This will be a Megan question, really.
I cried today, you guys. I finished Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the next Hunger Games book, Haymitch's story. And the thing about that is you know what happens because we have Haymitch in the Hunger Games. So you know how he like gets to that point in the Hunger Games, but actually like reading about it, like I feel the tears coming on again. It was so beautifully written. It was so heartbreaking. And I cried today and I had a hard time working in the morning because I was just like, how can I move on? How can anyone move on? So yeah.
I won't lie, that makes me want to read it a little more.
Yeah.
You should definitely read it.
Yeah.
Like they talk slightly about it in Catching Fire because I also just reread those, but they talk like Katniss and Peeta like sit down on the train as they're going to the Capitol and they watch Haymitch's Hunger Games, but there's so much more to it that I can't go into it any further without spoiling anything, and I do not want to spoil anything. I want you to go into it feeling all the feels. So
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
Definitely.
Well, it's being added to my list then.
Yeah. Also, I will say, sorry, one other thing. I do want to commend her it felt like a Hunger Games book, even though it's been, well over a decade since she wrote the Hunger Games. I guess it's been a couple years since she did President Snow's story. But it still felt like the voice and the writing style still felt very Hunger Games, but not to the point that it felt like I was reading a book from 2008 or 2009 or whatever.
That's awesome.
Like, it still felt relevant today. Also, it is very relevant for today.
Yeah.
Very important story for this day and age. But yeah.
Wow.
She did a great job.
That's awesome.
I'm happy.
What about a book that made you laugh out loud?
Oh, yes.
That's the other half of the question.
Listen, I am feeling all the feels. So the most recent book that made me laugh out loud a lot was Once Upon a Broken Heart, that entire series. Since I binged them all last month, I think it was. I spent so much time going, oh my God, and like laughing out loud. It was very funny. Very fun. So that was the other one. The other books that made me cry was The Dead Romantics and Endsinger by Jay Kristoff.
I think we did talk about Endsinger at one point where you
Yes.
said that your husband was like, "What is wrong with you?" You're like, don't look at me."
He's like, what, you're crying because of a book? And I was like, you don't understand. Anyway, who's next?
What about you, Marissa?
Yeah.
It's really hard 'cause as you know, and we've talked about, I don't cry a lot.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a very, that time of the month or something like that going on that makes me weirdly emotional. So the only thing that I could really think of, and it's been years upon years since I've read this, but I remember I did read Marley and Me,
Oh yeah.
and that made me cry because, dogs and books.
For some reason, every book you go into with a dog, you know that the dog's gonna die. You know it's gonna be sad, and you still go into it.
And you still cry.
Yes.
Basically, anytime there's like an animal companion of some sort,
Yep.
if anything happens to that animal, I might not cry physically, but I am crying on the inside when it happens.
Yeah.
That's why I had to stop watching Dodo videos. You know Dodo, the Dodo?
Yeah.
They do a lot of animal videos, and it's a lot of like, we're rescuing this animal, we're saving this animal. And I'm just like, oh God.
Okay,
Oh,
so this isn't a
God.
book, but they have The Best Days of Our Life, by the is it not the All American Rejects, it's this
Oh.
is gonna be the best day of our lives.
Yeah.
Plain White Tees?
Something like that.
I don't know.
Anyway, so they did a video for adopting dogs.
Oh no.
And it literally it's the happiest tears, but I literally will cry to this day when that video comes on. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's like literally like it'll start out like the videos like you just see this dog and they're doing all these fun like things, and then like at the very end it I'm like literally tearing up thinking about it. It like rewinds backwards to the day it's the adoption day.
Do it, Jenna.
And I
no.
was like, oh my gosh. And it like literally will make me cry. Funny thing is I cannot think of a book that made me cry other than like A Thousand Splendid Suns, which we've talked about before.
Mhm.
That one I think I teared up with, and Kite Runner, and his other one, and The Mountains Echoed. Those ones I think all made me cry. But I honestly can't even remember if I physically cried or not. I just remember like it really hit me and like sat with me.
Yeah.
Laughing out loud, I always come back to Can You Keep a Secret? I
Oh,
literally
yeah.
laughed out loud with that one.
Yeah.
But like in public, to the point where I was like embarrassingly like, oh my God, and like like had to like hide behind the book a few times. Which is funny because it kind of does have one of the cringy covers that I wouldn't usually read in public, but I got past it.
Did you say what book makes you laugh?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
she stole mine, so
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Here I am just taking your thunder.
yeah, no, that was gonna be mine because I can't I don't laugh out loud either. I'm
Yeah.
very stoic when I read books.
Same.
I keep all my emotions on the inside. I mean, there's books that I think are hilarious that I love. Like I liked reading My Lady Jane.
Oh,
Thought that
yeah.
one was hilarious.
I thought about that one literally on my drive over, where I was like, I think I laughed out loud in that one.
Yeah, I can't remember if I ever laughed out loud at that, but I laughed at it. Like I definitely thought it was
Internally.
funny. A lot of honestly Kurt Vonnegut's books are funny at some points where I'm all like, that was a really clever thing to say there, but I can't think of anything that I like laugh out loud at.
I think that My Lady Jane, we laughed for a little bit at the beginning because it was when you broke your nose and I
Well,
was
yeah,
reading
you were
aloud
reading
to
it
you.
to me.
And we're both laughing here going, stop it, this hurts, you can't, which then made us laugh more, but it might have been us more than the book that was laughing at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
Although
it was
the book
very
was
funny.
hysterical.
It was hilarious, and then Jenna was reading it, which was even more hilarious because it was like an audiobook read by Jenna.
Did you do the voices?
Look, Jenna has dyslexia too,
Yeah.
so she can't even
So-
read things out loud originally to people. So it was a very comedic session.
Yeah, and then she was not allowed to read to me again because my nose hurt.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
all right, Megan.
It's me.
It's a you.
I don't know whose this is. Who is a character from a book you would want to be your BFF? I remember this is Marissa's.
Yeah. Me, this one, I honestly, once again, it was one of those things where I wrote the question, but I didn't know if I had an answer or not to it. I think the most recent book I would say would be, Seema, from the Jasmine Throne series. I think she was a really good best friend to Priya. I think she was really cool. And then the other one I thought of was May from Under the Whispering Door.
Oh yeah, she'd be really
I
fun.
love May.
She would be like ride or die. She would fight somebody for you.
Yeah. You
And-
walk in and you're like, I had a really bad day at work, and she pulls out her axe. She's like, who am I going to kill?
Yeah.
Or who am I going to pass on?
Right. I think, also, I think I'd like May as a good friend because she'd balance me out of like, she's a lot more high energy and I'm not. So I think it would be a good like opposites thing. But yeah, that's what I came up with.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Those are good choices. How about you, Jenna?
It's funny because this was another one that I was kind of having a little bit of a hard time. And I was going through my Goodreads trying to remember ideas for this. I think I was thinking of Della from Amin Al-Sarafi.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
And I was like, mainly because she seems like the type of person who is not going to like sugarcoat it. She's going to tell you exactly what you need to hear. But at the same time, if anyone hurts you, she's going to kill them. And I was like, that's literally the ideal best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Like May.
yeah, like May.
yeah.
What
I
about
have
you?
two. So I said Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
only because I felt like I connected with her the most. So I feel like our energies matched, our auras, if you will. And then I also said Jane from My Lady Jane, because she had books at her wedding.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I would be like,
Point.
I should have done that.
That's a good point.
I got married a couple months before we even read it. So
Look, I got married
Missed out.
after we read it, but I got married during COVID, and none of the people that I had at my wedding, with the exception of like Marissa, would have appreciated that.
yeah.
Maybe my mom.
I will say I do like the fact that we all kind of chose people that would kill other people for us.
Yes. I don't know if Jane would kill anybody, but Scarlet would.
Yes.
Yeah, Scarlet would.
Scarlet would
for
go
sure.
on big adventures with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Marissa, your turn.
All right. What is a book / series you regret not finishing, or that you regret finishing?
Look, this is ironic that we're talking about this. I am currently trying to finish Legendary, which is the second in the Caraval
Yeah, we
series.
have a little
agreement.
Yeah.
We've come to an agreement here. And that's the only book series that I can think of in this instance for me, is that I really did not like Caraval. And I am, let me see, how far into this am I? I am like almost halfway, I want to say. 39% into this book, Legendary, which is the second book in the series. And I'm still sitting here going like, why? Why am I reading this series? But I really want to get to Once Upon a Broken Heart.
You gotta be careful. Mom's customer that she met at work that she talks like
Oh,
hyped
yes.
up our podcast to loves Caraval.
Yeah.
And Mom's like, you gotta listen to my daughter's podcast. They talk about books all the time.
Yes.
So we
it just
can't rag on
wasn't
her
my
book.
favorite. I have heard that it gets better with each book from this series. I will say this does feel better than Caraval to me. But it reminds me so much of Caraval that I'm having a hard time getting into it. So, but I want to get to Once Upon a Broken Heart because I have heard nothing but amazing things, and Megan had to call me to happy vent about it, so I must read it.
It was so good.
So we'll
I
see if it's
enjoyed
one
it.
that you regret finishing.
Yeah, so this could be that series for me. Either I will regret it or I will regret having taken so long to finish it.
Listen, it's the groundwork.
That's what I've heard.
It's the groundwork, because I was even just talking to best friend Hannah last night about it, because she started Once Upon a Broken Heart, and she's like, I'm just really confused. I don't know. They're talking about all of these fates and there are all of these things, and I don't know what's going on. And I was like, listen, you got to go back. And she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny because we just met Jax. So I'm like, okay. Like, kind of just met him. Like, she figured out who he is and everything. And so I was like, okay, like, I understand why I need to read this, because he's the main character of Once Upon a Broken Heart, or like the love interest or whatever. So it's like, I know that I have to understand this, and this is going to set the groundwork, but at the same time, I'm just like, but I hate Tella.
His characterization in the first series is so important for Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Yeah.
So even though the author has said before, you don't have to read either to read the other, I do think you do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Which is why I'm pushing my way through it.
Yeah.
So what about you, Megan? Are there any books that you regret reading?
Funny you should ask. I literally just started not the Cruel Prince, Wicked King today, on my drive down. And
the other part of our agreement.
Since I finished Cruel Prince and I never finished the series. But I am not at the point where you are, where I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? I'm just kind of like, okay, let's see, kind of thing. But other than that, the book series that I don't really have any that I regret finishing. But I have a couple that I like want to finish that I just never have the like desire to pick up though. So it's She Who Became the Sun, which I've talked about before, which is like the Chinese retelling of what if this emperor was actually a woman kind of thing. And then Everland. I'm actually like, even though we gave Everland not the best score or like rating, I'm still curious about how it ended.
I will say there's so many books that I felt like we read with Owl Crate that I was just curious enough that I wanted to continue reading the series, but so long passed that I never finished it, and now I'd have to like remember everything that happened in that book, which is ironic because
Caraval and
Caraval were those books.
And it's been like, what, 6 or 7 years now?
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, those are the two that I do eventually want to finish. And then kind of one that I wish I hadn't wasted so much time not reading was finishing the Parasol Protectorate series.
Yeah.
Because I read the first one, loved it. And then I told you when I was in Australia, I bought the rest of them, knowing I would love them. And then it took me like years and years and years to like pick up one, read it, and being like, oh, why did I wait so long? It's so good. And then waiting years and years and years until I finally read the last 3 in one go. And I was just like, I don't know why I wasted so much time when I could have enjoyed all of these.
Yeah, they're a good bingeable series.
They really are. They're very fast. Like the pacing is so quick. The banter is chef's kiss. Beautiful.
You just have to get like 2 or 3 chapters into the first book, because usually you start out and you're kind of like, what am I reading? And I just remember like the first 2 or 3 chapters, Marissa was like, you have to read this. And I'm like, why am I reading this again? And then all of a sudden I like got into it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm reading this.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? The first chapter, she kills a vampire because he couldn't bite her, and then he destroys the dessert tray.
I do remember.
And it's devastating.
It was just such a random, awkward thing. And then it's like, but you just have to get into like the mindset and the pacing and like the way she talks. And,
yes.
And that's when you like, oh, okay, this is what I'm hooked.
For me, I couldn't, like, the first chapter, I was just, because the way that they talked, I wasn't sure if it was satire or real.
Yeah.
But once you realize that's just how it is, like, that's just,
It's that
the
goofy,
style,
funny style a little bit, yeah.
Well, you haven't finished her other series, right?
No.
You haven't done
So all of them. I started Prudence.
Uh-huh.
So I definitely want to go through that. And then I also want to do the Finishing School series as well, of course. They are in my planner to read.
Yes.
I just have to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about you, Marissa?
It's funny. It's slightly, actually quite different from your guys's, I think, but something I look forward to going back to read at some point is, a series of unfortunate events.
I do want to read those. I've never read them, but I do want to.
Never finished it. I read, I think, the first, 5, 6, maybe 7. I don't remember because there's a bunch of them. I remember reading a lot of them, and I never finished it, and I really regret not finishing it, and I want to go back and finish it and see the ending and how the ending is, and especially because I did finish the Netflix series.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how much it actually follows, because I know they took a lot of liberties in that, but
Okay.
I'm sure that there's still a lot of stuff that ties into it.
Yeah. Because the Netflix series, obviously, they have to condense everything into 8 episodes for the first part, and then I don't remember what it was. It was very short, though. I remember it being pretty short because they condensed, was it two? It was an episode and a half or 2.5 episodes per book or something.
Yeah, it was usually about 2 episodes per book, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'd have the book, and then they'd have the ending, and then the transition into the next book.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never watched the next Netflix series.
You
so.
should. It's actually really good.
I watched the first part, and then, of course, it took 8 months, a year for the next part to come out, so I just never
Yeah.
got back to it.
Yeah. So I want to go finish reading those at some point. And then I guess because as you guys were talking, I was thinking about this one. What's the one with the 3 sisters that we got from Al?
Three Dark Crowns.
Yeah, 3 Dark Crowns. I never finished that one, and I think partly because it didn't go any way that I wanted it to, so I was like, I'm not gonna finish this. But I am still curious about how it goes and how it ends.
That was Kendar Blake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved her anti-goddess books.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like I really want to finish that one too.
We also I remember us loving 3 Dark Crowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I
then-
loved the book. There were parts of it that I wanted certain things to happen, and they
Yeah.
never happened, and they never played out the way I wanted it to, and I was like, I get it, I'm not writing the book, but I still was a little bit disappointed in a lot of things.
I've read the first 4 books. No, first 3 books, because there's 4 of them. But I never read the last one, and that is also on my list to read this year because I actually have it on my shelf because I think it was some kind of sale, I went out and bought it, and I was like, okay, I want to know how it ends.
Yeah.
So I do also want to read that one. Is there any book series that you regret reading or finishing? Why did I waste my time on it?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I think there's a lot that I cringe at now because when I read it, I was a lot younger and had a different mindset where now I definitely would not be reading those books. But I don't think there's anything that I would go back and say, I wish I had never read that.
Yeah.
Because I think the big thing for me too is if I don't like the first book of a series, I'm not going to finish the rest of it.
Right.
So
That's why when I looked at this question and I was like, who wrote that? Because that's not a very good question. It was me.
It was me.
My bad, you guys.
You know what's funny is that I feel like I probably wouldn't have read the second or third books as much with books that if I don't like the first one, But I think that had you asked me this question 5 years ago, I could think of a lot more books that I wish that I hadn't finished even the first book. I wish I'd let myself DNF earlier in my life.
Yeah.
But now I just DNF things left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Not working for me. There are books where I'm just like, I can't believe I finished this because I feel like it wasn't good enough for me to invest this amount of time, but for some reason I do find myself just morbidly curious enough and invested enough that I finished the whole series.
I will be honest, there are some things where it's like the Maximum Ride series where it was just a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, totally happy, totally fine with it, but because it just kept going, I think I regret continuing on with the ones that just it kept going until it was bad or just should have stopped.
100% agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
Maximum Ride was my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh my gosh.
Well, what's funny is he had originally written a different book of Maximum Ride.
Yeah.
So he had an original Maximum Rides, which I read, and I loved those ones. And then I tried to read the second ones, and they were too young for me, and I never got into all of those. I think I read the first 3, and then I was like, that's all I can do.
Wait, is Maximum Ride a fan fiction of Maximum Ride?
Written by the same author, yes.
Fan of his own work, it's fine.
Is the original adult?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it was
How do I not know
It's
about
not.
this?
She's
not
still
super
a
adult.
teenager, right?
She was a teenager, but it followed more the adult woman who adopted them.
Yeah.
So it went through both
okay.
of them, and it was different. It was very different. But yeah, I read that originally because I was full on James Patterson. I read almost every James Patterson book there was, and I mean, obviously now there's a bajillion more.
I was going to say, you can't do that anymore.
I don't think it's possible anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was a point where I had read just about every one of his books. So
Because I read the original one too, because you told me about it. Because you were the one that introduced me with the Maximum Ride trilogy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I think I continued on.
Further.
They had like Max and Fang and all of the other ones.
Angel.
And I was like,
and-
I regret continuing this. It should
I
have just
agree.
ended.
Yes.
I agree. But I felt like you had to keep going. I felt like it wasn't just a trilogy because even if it was, I didn't like finish up with neatly with a bow on it or something.
I'm also that type of person that's like, yes, give me more content of these people. Like we talked about in my fan fiction episode. It's like,
Right.
I need to know what happens after. And so that's why I read fan fiction. So that's what I was going in with that, and I shouldn't have.
I had my friend Big Marissa, she spoiled it for me because she actually finished the series. And so the one question that I had was like, who is the voice in Max's head? And she's like, oh, it's this person. And I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Of all the people or like whatever it could have been. And I felt like, and I don't know if he had ghostwriters or whatever finish off that series because it made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm glad I did not finish those.
Mhm.
So yeah, that actually fits the question. Good job, Marissa.
Hey.
Good job. All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Which book do you wish you could read all over again for the first time? We discussed how Marissa had a hard time with this
I had
question.
such a hard time with this question. But so I was telling Jenna I was kind of having a hard time with this question because right now I'm not in a reading mood. So I can't think of a book I want to read right now in the first place. So like thinking about rereading books, I'm like, I don't want to read right now.
Yeah.
I want to play Monster Hunter right now because that's what I'm obsessed with.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. So I have a hard time, but a lot of the times it's the mystery ones. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Oh yeah.
But it's like anything that you have a mystery you're trying to figure out, it's like, it's so satisfying to get to that ending and figure it out, but then you're like, I can never reread this because I know.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, there's two. So another one of our questions that we'll talk about probably if one of us pulled it, ties into this book too, so it'll probably come up later. But the I Hunt Killers series that I read with my husband, I wish that I could reread those all again for the very first time. But it's another one of those mystery aspects where because I know what happens, I can't fully care. I mean, I can, but I already know what's coming. So even though tons of time has gone by, I'll already know what's coming. And then my other one is the Ember and the Ashes series.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could reread those all again for the first time, especially now because all of them are out, so I could enjoy. Those ones are because they're all out now. I'd be able to binge them, whereas before I read them in chunks as they came out. So I think that if I could binge read those again all over for the first time, I'd be pretty happy.
I binge read those.
Yeah.
Because I read the first one and then I read the second one. And then by the time the third one came out and you were like, Megan, there's a fourth. And I was like, okay, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait. So I waited and then I binge read them all from beginning to end. And it was so good.
Yeah.
And the way it all ties in just as like one giant epic story is fantastic.
Yeah.
So definitely if you can.
Yeah. I mean, I'll 100% reread them again. It's just not the first time feeling, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So I wish that I could reread everything all together at once.
That is a hard thing too, because like I was thinking about it with a lot of like my nonfiction books that I read. It's hard to reread those in the first place because, well, I already know everything now. I'm not learning something new.
Right.
So that, like a lot of my nonfiction books, I think would be cool to read again for the first time because learning it again for the first time is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
For me, since I reread all of the Hunger Games books, I feel like one, they hold up, which I was surprised about, and two, like as an adult, not because I read them when I was in college, so as like a full-fledged adult, which as Haley would quote, my prefrontal cortex is fully developed. She says that all the time.
I love it.
Now that that's fully developed, I like understand and like pick up on so much more in the books. So I do think that rereading as you age, I think it's someone, I don't know if it's someone on the internet or friend, someone said that they reread The Little Prince every 5 years and they get something new out of it every single time.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I believe
That's
in
why something
rereading,
fun.
and I love rereading. there's something different about when you get to reread.
The magical.
Yeah, that when you read something for the first time and you have no idea what's going to happen, and you're like, you know, like even books like An Ember in the Ashes and stuff, where it's like you kind of know you know it going in, like your main characters are going to be okay, or your main character might be okay because you're following the main character,
Right?
But it's like when you're reading it the first time, you're like, but I don't know this author. What if they're not okay? What if they're not?
Yeah.
And I mean, actually, Sabaa Tahir does really, really, really good with that.
Yeah, she does.
She really makes you question if they're going to be okay.
I think a very interesting one would be to read for the first time again and not know anything would be Game of Thrones for me.
Or like not knowing anything about the show,
Exactly.
or the movie,
And that's that's what I'm thinking is like if I went into, so when I was going into Game of Thrones, I had already started watching the show. So when I read the book, I already had that preconceived idea of what's happening. Where it would be really fun to read that book without knowing anything and getting those big spoilers that happen and be shocked by them.
I was so like, I'm reading this and I'm like, all right, Ned's the main guy. We're going to be following the story about this guy, Ned. Like, yeah, okay. And then like the end of the first book, it's like, and he dies. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Right. For me, it was when I was reading the book and that specific season hadn't come out, Renly Baratheon died by the shadow. I was like, I had to reread the page like 5 times because I didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
But it was Brienne was with him because she was in love with him, and she was freaking out, and I was like, why is she freaking out? What's going on? And it's like, oh snap, he straight up died.
Yeah.
Dang, that was like my biggest plot twist because I had watched the show season 1 and then I went back and read them, and I think season 2 was coming out as I was reading the book 2, but I still got the spoilers from the book before the show.
Yeah.
So then you go into the show going, well, then of course they hit where they branched out from each other. So then you're like, we know nothing now.
Yep.
Nothing matters. All right. Next question, Megan.
I haven't answered my question.
Oh, sorry, Megan. Answer the question.
I would want to reread The Dead Romantics again because I want to feel all those feels
Yes.
again for just, I would definitely do that. And then another one, which I guess kind of ties into the mystery one, is The Ninth House. Even though it's not like a big mystery, it's still like the mysterious of like what happened. And then as like the 2 storylines converge, then you kind of get the whole story. Wait till the 3rd book comes out.
Yeah. I was going to say, I haven't read it, but I didn't want to do to myself what I did with Ember in the Ashes, where so much time passed. So
especially like the ending of book 1 is so plot twisty, and then the ending of book 2, I genuinely don't I remember like one specific thing about book 2 and that's it. I don't remember what happened in book 2, but I do remember it also had a plot twist. So yeah, Leigh Bardugo, please. Please.
Yeah, I'll be
book
waiting
3
for that one.
Yeah. And then that's it for me.
Marissa,
All right.
did you answer?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I wasn't like jumping everyone and being like, ask another question, Meg, because I'm the only one that matters.
I'm actually excited for this question. It is, have you ever read a book that changed your perspective on something? And yeah. Marissa, go.
Okay. Most recently, I would say I listened to the audiobook of it, but I listened to Society of the Snow, which was the book about the rugby team that crashed in the Andes. And going into it, I knew some things that happened there. They spent a lot of time up there. There was cannibalism and stuff, survival. I was blown away by the love and support that came with that, because it was very much like you expect conflict between like the different characters, quote unquote, like the different people that actually went through it. I expected like conflict there, like a Lord of the Flies situation, but it wasn't. It was very much like we all came together, we all supported and helped each other, and like our camaraderie and love is what got us out of it and what saved us all. And so that was something that was really cool to me, because that kind of changed my perspective on like survival situations like that. It was honestly really heart-touching. Obviously you had moments, like it was cool because they had interviews with some of them and they talked about like they had those moments of like they would be upset with each other or whatever, and they'd just be like, look, I'm upset with you because I'm trying to save you. And it was such a very, like, positive book. So
Yeah.
I think that was something that really changed my perspective on my thought of, you know, humanity and their quest for survival in dire situations.
Yeah.
Well, I think so often, especially with those books, you know, you get the Yellow Jackets and the Lord of the Flies and the how quickly we spiral out of control. So to see it in like a positive light would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that would be so interesting to read, you know, going, like you said, going into it with some preconceived notions and then coming out of it being like, wow.
Yeah, and it's cool too because Society of the Snow was like actual interviews and actual people's stories on it. So it was like their own voices telling you their experience.
That's really cool.
So yeah, highly recommend it for nonfiction people.
Yeah.
Also, highly recommend the movie too.
Yeah, you talked about that on Netflix, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked a lot about the Thousand Splendid Suns and the way it really impacted me and made me think of being a woman outside of America and specifically the Middle East and stuff like that. That was one of the first ones that I think affected me. Also, I think The Hate U Give was probably one of the ones that I read, and not that it completely changed my perspective on things, it just forcibly put you in the mindset. And so even though I thought I had one perspective on something, it built it in a different way in my mind, I think. And made me see things in a different light. And it opened up and it really brought about a lot of really cool conversations. Not just with like my husband, who's a Black man who wanted to be a cop, and who has had friends who have died. He actually has had friends who have died from cops. But also like with my stepfather and other people in the Black community and their way of seeing things too. So I think that was probably one of those books that resonated and changed my perspective on things in a way that I didn't anticipate.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that one, but it, like, between the movie and both the book,
Yeah.
like, the movie, I just cried the whole time.
Oh yeah.
It was so sad and eye-opening to, you know, we are 3 privileged white women,
Yes.
to learn about such a different, you know, part of America and how hard things can be.
Absolutely. Yeah, that book, sitting and reading a book from that perspective really, it really changes you, because even if you think you can sympathize, when you're reading it from this perspective, you become that person that you're reading, and the words that the author uses to describe those situations really sits with you differently than you could ever imagine not being a person of color.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely that book was probably one of the ones that changed my perspective the most. What about you, Megan?
I interpreted this completely different than you guys.
I love that.
Meg's like, you should have started with me.
So, on a slightly lighter note, The Hating Game changed my perspective on romance. Not like the romance genre, I should say.
Yeah.
Not on my romance life, or romantic life, I should say. But
you actually fell in love with your coworker who you...
Yeah. That's how Hanson and I met.
Totally.
Totally. We met through a soccer game, you guys. So for me, it changed my perspective on just specifically the romance genre. And I had never actually, I'm trying to think, I must have read like a romance book at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, this one was just like, this is what romance can be. Like the romance books, what they can be and what they can, you know, like how fun and engaging and interesting they can be. And then I think from there, you said, oh, you should read Can You Keep a Secret?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I read that one and then the Well Met series. And then from there, now I'm just like, yeah, romance is awesome.
Yeah.
But I had always just assumed, like we talked about earlier, romance was always just the Fabio books.
Yeah.
And my mom would read those. And I was just like, ugh, they're so low brow. And I'm like, no, romance is really, like, it's a whole, like, it's intense.
Yeah.
That's, what was the one book by Emily Henry that we just read where they were the rivals?
Not Book Lovers. It was.
I know, that's what's coming in my brain. Beach Read.
Beach Read, yes.
Where she challenges him to write a romance and he challenges her to write speculative fiction.
Yeah.
And he is like, yeah, I admit it's actually not that hard, because he had originally said to her, like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, anyone can write romance. Just like, no.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I, that really changed my perspective on that.
Yeah. I can actually see that, because I think that for me, I'd always looked for romantic books, but I wanted the romance was always a subplot. So
Yeah.
to find books where the romance is the plot
Right.
that I could enjoy, that didn't feel like my mom's, 99-cent books from Walgreens or whatever. Not that my mom actually read those books. My mom read mystery books where they were serial killers, but it didn't have that feel to it. So it was like to find books like that I totally see that. I think Can You Keep a Secret was the first one for me, and then it went into the hating game. I think we flip-flopped.
Yeah, we flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, last category for you, Marissa.
All right. It's upside down. This is a simple one that we can do a whole episode on, but who is a good villain?
Who was a good villain? That's a question.
That's a question.
Jenna, who's a good villain to you?
It's funny because I feel like more and more often I'm not. More and more often, the villain gets the girl, and the villain isn't actually the villain in books nowadays.
Yeah.
But I think just generically, I think the bone chilling villains are the ones that are so convinced that like they're in the right, and can't be like taken out of that headspace, can't be like taught otherwise. Specifically, I want to say the Illuminae Chronicles, or Illuminae
Aiden.
Files. Aiden, yeah, that was good villain. Good villain.
But was Aiden a villain, is the question.
I mean, later,
For sure.
Yeah.
Aiden was definitely a villain. But Aiden was also like sort of in love with Katie
Yeah,
and like saved her a bunch. So
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd say he was a villain, but it still look, its name is Aiden, but still.
I like how we automatically assume that Aiden
Gender.
is a man and therefore a villain.
Therefore, a villain.
Anyway.
Look, it has male feels. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Megan?
I wrote, and I agree with you, I had a hard time coming up with like genuinely good villains that I actually liked. So most of mine are like, they're actually the main character. So Nova from Renegades is like a super villain because Renegades is a superhero story. So she is like the apprentice / like adopted daughter of the super villain of that story. And her whole thing is like, you must go undercover and infiltrate and go into the good guy's lair and tell me their secrets. So I really liked her a lot. Also, she was the main character, so you can't not like the main character. And then also Crimson Moth,
Oh,
Heartless Hunter.
yeah.
They were each other's villains.
Yeah, they were
And
both
I-
the villains.
I
in the same
liked
way.
that a lot. Especially since we got the dual point of view from both Gideon and from, what was her name? You haven't read
Rue.
Rue.
I had to think about that for a second. I was
Did you finish?
like, I
you?
didn't read the second
Okay,
one yet.
not yet. But yeah, I really like that we got both of them and how his whole objective is to hunt her down and her whole objective is just to romance him, I guess, to get information on herself.
I'd like to change my answer too. Queen from the Cinder.
Oh,
Chronicles.
Queen Lenard.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah, the evil queen.
But she was a good villain. She was creepy.
Isn't there
Yeah.
multiple ones? Because
So each book like had its minor villain,
Yeah.
but the overall arching villain.
Was the queen that was like the most beautiful and the fairest of them all and stuff, and she was the one going after Cinder.
She was gonna marry Kai.
Yes, she wanted to marry Kai.
I don't remember the connection to Scarlet. She put Cress up in the satellite and like trapped her there. And then she also basically
Winter.
terrorized, Winter. So she was like, oh, I guess she technically made Scarlet and what was his name? Wolf.
Yeah,
She kind of sort of made Wolf.
yeah, she like, was
By,
the bad
like-
guy by making the wolves and stuff.
Yeah.
like that. But they did a good job with her. I'd say mad, twisted royalty. They usually make good villains.
Yeah. I agree. So like you could also say like the Darkling is a good villain.
Yeah.
And Ianthe, no, sort of. She was
Yeah,
a villain in the
Ianthe was
second one.
creepy.
Who was the first in the first? Who was the queen under the mountain?
Oh, Amarantha.
Amaranth. Yeah,
And then what's the king from
King
Throne
who?
of Glass or
Oh,
whatever?
I don't know.
But
Anyway, so like
yeah.
you have like your generic good villains out there, but I like the villains that are a lot more complex.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that I said. How about you, Marissa?
Yeah, I have a hard time with villains in books, I noticed, because I was thinking about it, because we'd talked about doing a villains episode, and I'm like, okay, well, let me look at, like, villains that I've read about, and a lot of the times the villains in books I don't care for as much. It's villains in other media that I like. I brought up, in a previous episode, I like the, Priory villain that we can't talk about, but that
I
one's
don't
a
get
good
to
one.
know.
Yeah, Jenna isn't allowed to know about that one. But I think, and this is going to be a cop-out answer, but I think a lot of the times, and especially recently, some of my favorite villains are abstract villains.
Yeah.
Of like in Society of the Snow, it was the environment.
Yeah.
In a lot of Kurt Vonnegut, it's like the government or society or something like that. I like those abstract villains.
Yeah.
Levana. Queen Levana.
That was her
Sorry.
name.
I have to look it up. It was really bothering me.
I want to go like, yeah, you could go into His Dark Materials where the people think the villain is the dust. Did you guys ever read those series? The Golden Compass series?
No.
Oh, okay. So like they think that the dust is the villain. So I won't go into then if you don't know, because you don't know what I talk about. But that's like magic basically is the villain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find that's what I read about more is like an abstract villain, where like other medias, like one of my favorite villains is the one from Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan,
Yes.
because he was right.
Yeah.
Like
That's
he
what
was the
everyone said,
villain,
yeah.
but he was right, and so it's
Yeah.
like I like when you have that villain that you're like, I know you're the antagonist, but you're also not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going for you. I'm kind of rooting for you. And like, even the ones that I know are wrong, when they have like a good reason and a good cause that like makes it tragic that they're a villain. I like that.
And those are the kind of people I want to write.
Yeah.
Like in my stories, I want them to have a reason, and I want their reasoning to like not just be because I can or because you're wrong. I want it to like they have an actual reason that the main character can then be like, I get it, but also you're going about this wrong.
Yeah. The one of the big villains in Ruby is like when you find out who the big villain is in Ruby and you find out why they're the big villain, it's like this is such a good juicy thing. Like I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so curious. All these good villains. It's your turn.
Oh, my turn. Do you have ideal reading conditions? And if so, are you able to read in unideal conditions? Or is there any conditions that make it so that you are unable to read? That's my question, so I'm adding to it.
What are the conditions that you
Give me your
read?
conditions.
Good, bad, and otherwise.
Yes.
I think that it changes
Yeah.
frequently of like, yes, I need to be at home because I feel safe here, but no, I've got a lot of distractions here. So no, I need to be outside, or it changes frequently for me. My go-to usually is outside somewhere where I'm away from everything on like a cool day. It can't be
Ooh.
hot. It has to be cold. I'd rather be bundled up and cold and reading than hot.
Sweaty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I will read by the pool in the summer, but I don't like doing it as much. I'd rather go, out to the park or on a hike in a colder weather to do that. But it's unrealistic to always read like that, so.
You love my parents' cabin.
Yeah.
Cool area.
How about you, Jenna?
For me, I really need it to be quiet. Like it doesn't have to be silent, but it can't have a lot of things pulling for my attention. I have a hard time reading when like there's a lot of background noise. That being said, like I enjoy like coffee shops and stuff like that and can do like background noise that doesn't matter to me or bother me. But if I'm like at home and my husband's talking and the TV's going and my son's, playing and there's just a million things going on, then I don't enjoy that very much. Ideal conditions would probably be at a coffee shop when it's raining and quiet and there's not a lot of other people there. But I could still read outside of it. I just am gonna notice that I am not taking in what I should be taking in, or I might be getting distracted if there's a lot of noise that's pulling my attention away from the book. What about you, Megan?
Well, I was just going to respond. I think it's funny for me when I was in Korea, the ideal conditions was like in a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
But coming home, it was so hard for me because I could understand everybody.
Oh.
And I would like sit there and be like, what are they talking? What? Huh? English? So that was like good. For me, ideal conditions are my bed
Oh, yeah.
or the couch. But I can actually read anywhere. So like my newest thing is my husband will be playing League of Legends and I'll just be on his like new recliner that he got in his office. And I'll just be sitting there reading or writing or whatever while he plays his game and it's really loud.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I can read anywhere. I would read on the bus. I would read on the subway in Korea. For like Marissa said, in my house, the distractions are the books.
Yeah.
I will not do anything. Like the other day, I had a really hard time working because I wanted to read. So that was tough. And it was the Spanish Love Dissection. I just wanted to get
through it.
Just wanted to get to the good stuff.
If I'm really into a book, yeah, I can read it anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll read it anywhere. I'll read it at home. The distractions won't distract me.
Yeah.
But like if I'm not really into the book or I'm trying to like get myself into that reading mood, I can't just do it at home because I'll be thinking about like, oh, I could go play my video game or I could go put on my show or something like that. I could think of a bunch of other things to do. I need to clean my kitchen or whatever it might be.
Oh, I avoid all that. I have to clean my kitchen. I'm not going to. I'm going to go read.
I'll sit here and like be like, but there's dishes in the sink. I need to, if it's not clean, then. But that's also, once again, just an excuse of not reading because I'm not into it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's changed since having a kid, but everything in my life has changed since having a kid. Before I had a kid, it was like I could sit anywhere and it wouldn't bother me. Now there's an episode of Bluey, guys.
She sent me that clip today.
I have never felt so seen. But they're on vacation and the mom is like, let's get down to the beach. We have to get down to the beach. I want to start relaxing. Let's get down to the beach. And the dad's like, you go. We'll catch up. Like, it's fine. The kids are having fun. And so she goes and she sits and she like opens up her book and she goes, okay, chapter 1. No, I should enjoy the beach. Like puts it in the book. No, I should read. And it's like, that's how I feel with everything in my life now. It's like, oh, I have free time. Okay, I need to do as much stuff as I need to get done in this free time. I should read. No, I should just relax. No, I should read. No, I should do this. Like, yeah, that's how I feel all the time now.
I guess my thing now is since I always have an audiobook going, I could do the dishes, but I'm still reading.
That's true.
Sort of. So for me, I guess that also doesn't detract from anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. Is it bedtime?
Maybe.
All right.
Anyway.
Last question.
My very last one. You did yours, right?
Yes.
Okay. The very last one for this episode is, what is a book that stuck with you and why? Gotta find my answers.
Megan has to look at her notes. Her cheat sheet. Written smudged on her hand. She can't quite read it.
But I also did like shorthand with these.
Jenna, what's a book that stuck with you and why? While Megan finds her answer.
Who came up with this one?
Okay. So it's probably the beginning of
it's
your
the
notebook.
second one. It's literally the second one.
Yeah.
I missed it. Okay. And it literally says book that stuck with you. Megan. Anyway, go ahead.
You know what's funny is that I feel like there's a million books that have stuck with me for very different reasons. But for some reason, as soon as I read this question and still like to this moment, I can't think of a specific one that's like sticking out to me. I talked about I Hunt Killers. That one stuck with me because it's the most twisted ending to a series that I have ever read in my entire life. And I think about it all the time. Same with, I think, with Ember in the Ashes, which is another one that I said that I wanted to read over for the first time. That series stuck with me, and I think that because so much happened in those books that I just still feel like I'm unpacking them even years after reading them.
Yeah.
And the Empire of Gold, City of Brass, those books by Shannon Chakrabarty. Was it Shannon Chakrabarty or S.A. Chakrabarty that she wrote?
It was essay, yeah.
She wrote an essay.
We're gonna write in 2 different names. It's so confusing for everybody.
But yeah, those books stuck with me. Those ones stuck with me because it was written from 3 different perspectives, and they were 3 different political and religious perspectives. And I loved that the way that she wrote those books, each of them were wrong and each of them were right in their own ways. So, it wasn't like where you read a book from the main character's perspective and the other 2 are wrong and everyone else who doesn't believe and think their way is wrong. And so the fact that it was written from 3 different religious perspectives and political perspectives that each had validity was so interesting to me. And because of that, they all disagreed with each other but found ways of connecting, which I thought was cool. Yeah, those are books that stuck with me that come to my mind. What about you, Marissa?
So 2 that I thought of when I wrote this question. One was Columbine by Dave Cullen, which is about Columbine. It's a true story about Columbine and the research into it and like why it happened and all of that and what happened during it. That's something that sticks with me all the time, and every time I hear about any sort of shooting or anything like that, I always think about that book. Even though it's one instance, it's kind of was a defining instance.
Yeah, definitely was a turning point, I think, in our society.
Exactly. And I think the big thing was when I read it, because it was kind of almost when I'd first heard about it, and it's so insensitive, but it was almost a joke of when you first hear about it, like, oh, you're wearing trench coats, you must be Columbine or something.
Yeah.
And so I had to read about it to really kind of understand. And so that one stuck with me and still sticks with me. And then the other one is one of my favorite Kurt Vonnegut books, Mother Night, which is the book that's written like a memoir about somebody who was who wrote like propaganda for the Nazis. And it kind of gave you this weird, like, alternative perspective to World War II, which is something that usually I don't like World War II books as much, but a lot of Kurt Vonnegut stuff has to do with wars, and that one was just so interesting to me because of the way that he wrote it from the other side's perspective type thing. And there's more stuff that happens in it that it's hard to go into detail of it, but that was something that stuck with me on it.
I can see that.
All right. Outside of the ones that we talk a lot about on this podcast, I feel like there's a lot of books that have stuck with me for like very different reasons. So like I know for sure Sunrise on the Reaping, which looking at your socks, Edgar Allan Poe socks, Marissa.
Yeah, my
Edgar
polka dot.
Allan Poe plays a huge role in Sunrise on the Reaping. So yeah, it's very interesting. But I wanted to kind of focus on 2 series that I may have mentioned once or twice, but not to the point that I have like expressed my like love for. And the first one is The Last Magician series by Lisa Maxwell. And that one is kind of just, it stuck with me because the 2 characters, very similarly to Ember in the Ashes, had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations to like find a way to overcome, you know, obviously their like conflicts of themselves, but the conflicts of the world, because it's like magic is illegal and magic is only within this like small in this small part of Manhattan. I don't know how to explain it. It's very difficult. There's time travel as well. It's confusing. But I don't know. That one just like was one that is near and dear to my heart that I really love. And the other one is 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray, which I have mentioned a couple times, but that's the Firebird trilogy. And that one is like shifting through alternate realities to find her father, or no, her father's killer. And that one I think is so underrated, and it is so cool. And I think the way that she did like the science of it, plus also the romance was like really fun. Yeah, I feel like that one's like stuck with me. And I bought that as a cover buy. I had never read a Claudia Gray book, and I bought this because they were rainbows on the cover. And I was like, that's pretty. Let's buy the whole series. And then I read them and I was like, wow, this was such a good series. And I think it deserves a lot more love.
Yeah. I did read those ones. Those are very good books.
Yeah. All right. Any final words? This was really fun.
Yeah,
This
I
was
think we
fun.
did really well on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my research, so I'm ready for next round.
We'll add more questions just to throw you off.
Got to keep me
to
on
be
my
fair,
toes.
we'd only have 2 questions each then for next round because we only did 5.
Oh yeah, we each have to come up with at least one more question.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
We all
I
have to
was
do a
thinking-
surprise question.
That's so weird because I was thinking, oh, we're going to have like 5 episodes of this because I did not do the math correctly. Listen.
Hey, we got time.
But yeah, thank you guys for indulging us. And if you guys, listeners, have anything you would like to add, any of the questions that stuck out to you, don't hesitate to answer them.
Give us questions too.
Oh yeah, give
Ooh.
us questions.
Ask us questions.
We'll
Maybe
throw them
we'll
in the
answer
hat.
them. Yeah.
Ooh, audience reacts.
Yeah.
Or we react to audience, I guess.
Audience reacts to us, we react to them.
Jenna, where can they find us?
Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. The Braless Book Guild podcast. We are much better about posting things on Instagram, but we are nowhere near professionals here. We keep forgetting still. Don't mind us. We're doing our best.
You
here.
were sick last week as well,
Look,
so
It was hard.
it was a break for all of us.
It was really.
It was not a
bad.
break for you though.
It was. The whole week was a blur.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing our best to be more active on social media and interact with you guys. Please follow along. Please comment. I'm trying to be better about social media, but it's better when I have you guys talking to me too. So help.
Yeah.
And like, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
All right. Before we sign off, what are you guys reading? Let's do Jenna first. What are you reading?
Legendary.
She
We already
says.
talked about that.
I also got Dance of Thieves by Mary
Oh.
Pearson on my Libby, but
That's the second one.
no, it's the first one. It's
I'm thinking of
second one is-
Kiss of Deception.
Yeah, they have. So the funny thing is that I didn't really realize that those were connected.
They're connected?
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was the second one.
So, I read Kiss of Deception. I did not finish that series because I wasn't super thrilled with it. And so I didn't finish the series, and then I started to read the Dance of Thieves, and I was like, I'm confused. And then I saw, oh, they're connected, and I was like, this is gonna be another Caraval thing where I should read Caraval. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna finish Legendary. I'll come back to this one later. Bloody blah. Here I am. So Legendary. That's where I'm at, guys.
All right. How about you, Marissa?
I just finished listening to a very fantastic audiobook that I highly recommend, and it is very short, actually, audiobook wise. And it's called The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar. I think it's how you pronounce it. And what makes the audiobook so special is that, like, the whole book is about, like, these 2 sisters that sing to the willow trees that are known as the professors, and it's kind of a mix between, like, you know, real world and fairy world type stuff. But the singing, when they sing, the author and her sister actually sing in the background.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
That's cool.
And then it's just like, it's one of those ones where it's a very immersive one where, like, they have the river and you'll hear the river babbling in the background and stuff. And it was actually something that, like, I'd put on and fall asleep to and then wake up and rewind it. And
You have to go back.
yeah. But it was really good and I highly recommend it. And it is basically a fairy tale / romance type book. And I think Jenna would really like it, honestly. So
Is it gay?
kind of. One of the sisters is in love with like fairy type person who is non-binary.
Oh, very
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Very cool. I am reading. I meant to give this to Haley for her birthday because I'm annotating it for her birthday. and it is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. It's all about pregnancy.
Oh,
Obviously,
interesting.
wayward girls, so you can get an idea of that. So yeah, I'm finishing that up, and I will have that for her if she comes to our board game night
Oh, yeah.
on Saturday. If not, then I'll see her next time. I
Yep.
don't know. And then I'm also reading, I just started on the ride home, or the ride over here was The Wicked King by Holly Black. I will report back next week. So I have it both on ebook and audiobook. So I'm like determined to like
Finish
get
it.
through it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It does get significantly better than the first book.
we'll see.
I mean, it can't be worse.
I don't know. We shall see. Okay. All right. We'll leave you guys with a quote. Thank you all for joining us. This is from Vincent van Gogh, and it says, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." Into a hat. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.